someplace over Washington, D.C., USA, this is a Space Dog Radio Show. I'm a Space Dog. Thanks for tuning in. Space Dog Radio, your remote location radio station, coming to you 24/7 around the planet and throughout the universe from SpaceDogRadio.com. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Space Dog Radio. Shouts out to our friends over Filter Free Radio, independent radio, filterfreeradio.com. Jacob Dean is the mastermind over there. You can hear him live, 4 to 6 Pacific, 7 to 9 Eastern, and not only broadcasting from his online station, but across the airwaves now in Washington, D.C. Support independent media masterminds like those at freefilterradio.com. I'll put a link on spacedogradio.com. Shouts out to our business partners, Rainy Days Coffee, Lake Stevens, Washington, the Red Court Bistro, Mukilteo, Washington, the Speakeasy, 609 and a half, Taylor Street, Portland, Oregon. No better way to speak than to speak easy. The Twilight Cafe and Bar, Powell Boulevard, Portland, Oregon. Rick's Roadhouse on Highway 101, Rockaway Beach, Oregon. Rockaway Beach is a rockin' place. I was just there last weekend, had a blast. Love Rick's Roadhouse, check it out. And the Big Smoke in Ormond Beach, Florida. Just had a cigar from there this past weekend as well. Had a cigar from Ormond Beach on Rockaway Beach. Tie those two together. The Big Smoke in Ormond Beach, Florida, your premier location on the Space Coast for great cigars and accessories. Shouts out to our long-term listeners, Mukilteo to Melbourne, Kalispell to Kazakhstan, and all over, from Toronto to Tachikawa. There's so many to mention. We can't do it all here, but we know you're out there, and thanks for all your support. Special shouts out to our friends in Kiev and all across Ukraine, going through those hardships, and those who are affected by the tragedy in South Korea. So there's a new awareness coming up about the TPP. That is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. If you don't know about this, you've probably been living in a cave or under a rock. But this is one of the most detrimental agreements that is in work by our government, which is so just elusive and so secret. No one really knows anything about it except for it's totally NAFTA on steroids. I've said it a million times on Space Talk Radio. We did a show about it last year. We did a show about it the first part of this year, and we're doing a show about it now because it's very important. There's something that was just published on an excellent website, and I'll put a link on spacetalkradio.com, from tradewatch.org. And the title of this is, quote, "The Rising Use of Trade Pact Sales Pitch of Last Resort. TPP, Foreign Policy's Argument Mimic False Claims Made for Past Deals." And it raises certain awareness of the duplication of effort for huge multinational trade agreements such as NAFTA that hurt economies not only in America but around the world. They cited these quotes, which are amazingly similar, though years apart. Decades of the same foreign policy arguments. Quote, 1993 arguments for North American Free Trade Agreement. The passage of NAFTA has become a critical and, yes, symbolic test of U.S. leadership in the post-Cold War era. To vote the agreement down threatens America's position in the global economy and could be one more step in making the United States a second-rate power. Who said that and when? Republican Dan Glickman, November 16th, 1993. Fast forward 2014, arguments for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The question is whether the U.S. will take a leadership role in shaping a new course that reflects American values, or whether we'll stand on the sidelines as a new order unfolds. The TPP has become a symbol of American staying power. We must see it through. And who said this and when? Vice President Joe Biden. February 27th, 2014. Over 20 years apart, yet essentially saying the exact same thing. And what have we seen with NAFTA? The outcome of NAFTA was outsourcing, loss of jobs, loss of American industry, and all types of impact around the world. Have we learned nothing from that? Why are politicians allowed to secretly even entertain the thought of TPP, which can not only impact Americans, but the rest of the world by unleashing corporate greed and the lawyers that protect them around the world? I strongly suggest you visit www.exposethetpp.org and support the fight against the TPP if you haven't already. I'll put a link on it on spacedogradio.com, of course. But most of our Space Dog Radio listeners already know about the TPP and how detrimental it could be. We only ask that you get involved. You contact those in Congress and your lawmakers, so-called lawmakers, and ask them to please do their job and protect our jobs. From someplace over Washington, D.C., USA, this has been the Space Dog on the Space Dog Radio Show. Thank you for listening. Be safe, be happy, and I'll catch you next orbit.